you need to do it. It's not an excuse anymore. Not even for the sake of your clients, protect them. It is your moral, need to do that. When they give you, they're trusting you with their financial data, right? The digital financial data, you have to protect them. You have to make sure they're going to be okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the next episode, the next installment of Strategy in the Virtual Controller. My name's Damien Greathead, and it's a fall or autumnal morning here in Sydney. And today we've got a special guest who we'll be introducing shortly. But let me just introduce you to my co-host, Penny Breslin. Penny Breslin, how's things in San Diego?
Pretty good, pretty hectic, getting all packed up to head to Wyoming for the summer.
And for those people playing at home, it's April 12 or April 11 in the United States, so coming up to the final deadline. But this will probably go live in the next week or so once that April 15 deadline has passed. How are the ladies in Chennai?
Busy as all get out. It's crazy. We're getting surprisingly people who want to come on board to do cast work in the middle of tax season. So there is no non-busy season for us anymore. It's just nonstop taxes, nonstop cast support. Well,
as we've said before, CAS doesn't work if it stops for 4 months of the year during tax season. So I think that's probably a sign of people realizing that this year. But that CAS is not the topic of today, because Penny, you've invited a special guest, and we're spreading our wings further. We've got Sydney, we've got San Diego, and I'll hand over to you, Penny, to introduce our guest and let us know what part of the world they're sitting in.
Okay, our guest today is somebody I've known since 2003 because his company has been my managed service provider since 2003. We have always been hosted in their solution, no downtime ever. And Christophe is located in Tallahassee, Florida, where the server farm is, which he one time took me there and took me on the property and showed me how he tests. He goes, okay, now draw up a computer because I'm going to set off an alarm. And if you don't leave here in 5 seconds, you're going to be set on fire. And it was hilarious. I'm like, you don't really do that to kids. He goes, oh yeah, I've given him heart attacks doing this stuff. So he's got a server farm in Tallahassee, Florida. They also have a location, I believe, in Boyon, France.
Yes, in border France, yep.
And don't you have one in South Africa also, Christophe?
We don't anymore. No, it was in Morocco, North Africa, yeah.
All right. And so Christophe has an interesting, we've always depended on them for our security on our server, as well as updates and management and all of that. I mean, it's a flat rate. I know what I'm going to pay, and I know I'm going to get service, and the service is impeccable. And lo and behold, I've been filling out WISPs for some of our CPA firms because we're doing outsourcing. And so we have to guarantee them that when we're working on their stuff, we're secure. Luckily, all I got to do is say, link to Coaxis International. Here's this security. Boom, boom. That's it. It's filled out. And I know that if my clients do a WISP, in good faith, I should do one also. And I'm looking at it and the cost and everything. And I happen to be talking to one of my other clients who also, on my recommendation, started using Coaxis about 12 years ago. And she goes, Penny, call Christophe. He's doing it, and he's doing it so easy. And so I called, and Christophe was over in Europe at the time, but I talked to Lisa, and my WISP is done. It was like, no problem, done. It's all online. It's all organized. You go through a training session. The people are amazing. And we're about 80% there. We have 2 laptops we're still testing right now, and then we'll be done. And that's for how many users now do we have on there? We have 85 users of my own company using it both in the US and in India. And then we have clients who use it. But I'm going to tell you a quick story that happened in the middle of going through our training. And then I'm going to give this to Christophe to explain what the WISP is, why you need to do it, and how they do it. And that is...
Can I just be... Sorry, before you do the story, can we just learn a little bit more about Christophe, his background, a little bit more about Coaxis as well, just to make sure that listeners learn a little bit more about Christophe and his background, and also what Coaxis does?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So sorry, I was just like,
I thought that was going to come afterwards, but okay. It's all
right.
good.
Yes. So I've been operating a data center since 2002. So for a long, long time, and basically my life has been in compliancy and in security. When you operate a data center, you have to do compliancy and you have to be good at it. Cybersecurity is already, of course, a given. If you want to maintain, like Penny said, 100% uptime, you have to be good at what you do. Basically, you have to know cybersecurity, and that's what makes us a big difference to other people. Is that we care about it. We do understand CPAs, and we are always on the forefront of helping them in their cybersecurity problematic that they have, basically. So I work with multiple federal law enforcement, helping them in cybersecurity and remediation and things like that. So something that I've just started yesterday. It's been going on a long time, and we'll talk about later. But when the WISP came last year, of course, the FICP asked us to jump on that and then really help the members. And that's what we've been doing. We did a WISP that is online and trying to help them accomplish this new compliancy that's very, very important for them.
And I think a lot of people look at a hosted company as a company that hosts applications, and that's all they do. But actually, the hosting company, the hosting partner, does so much more than that. And I think a lot of firms that are still hosting their servers locally, probably unawares as to A, the number of threats that are out there, but B, what is the role of a hosting partner like Coaxis? So just give us again, just for people that might not be aware of Coaxis, let us know the full sort of suite of services that you do provide.
So the suite of Coaxis we provide hosting services. So basically you can put your application into the data center here, and we're going to host them for you, and you can log on and work on your application. Okay. The WISP is a little broader than that. And that's why one of the mistakes that people do really say, well, I'm hosted somewhere, so I don't have to take care of that. They do have to take care of that because we are responsible for the data center part, but there's always the local part of the network. So those people, those clients, when they come, they have computer into the environment, right? And the WISP address also the computer in the local environment of the CPA, because breaches come two ways. They could come from the data center, but we are protected here. We have a massive amount of protection, but also can come from the CP environment. And that's what the WISP is addressing. When they say in the WISP, you need to pen test, it means that you need to pen test your own environment and then make sure there is nothing in there that can be exploitable to go back to the data center. It's very, very complicated. In the WISP, we made it simple, but the security behind it is actually very complex. And when they go through the WISP, they go to a complex system of security check that we do, and to make sure that both ends are protected.
Wonderful. Penny, didn't mean to interrupt. I'll hand back to you for that story. Yeah.
Perfect.
What's that story?
Oh, story. Yeah. Well, most of the support people and the people that even work in every aspect of Coaxis, since I've been to their location, I know a lot of them, and they've been working with Christophe, the same people, for years and years and years and years. I talked to Ed, I talked to Bert, to Lisa, everybody, Jacqueline. Thank you, Jacqueline. They're all the same people. But in the last year, I've been talked to a few times or emailed a few times with Brayton. Got to meet him while I was doing my WISP. And just so you folks know, this is why this is so weird that you have to do this. Brayton said that he has been an ethical hacker for 2 years. Mm-hmm. He's been hacking for 5 years. He's been ethical for 2 because he's worked for Christophe. He's 19 years old. Uh-huh. And he's an old man in this industry.
It is.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not just some big corporation or somebody outside the country is doing it. I'm looking at my 14-year-old grandson and I'm going, do you know how to do this shit? Rowan, come here. Do you know anything about this stuff? I mean, he's 19. He's been doing this for 5 years, 2 of them ethically. That means for 3 years he wasn't.
Right.
He said, and I'm an old man in this industry.
It is. Yeah.
Christophe, now the floor is yours, because that one was a mind blower for me.
Well, that's a great way to start, actually. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's what I've done, doing a lot of speaking engagement with the FICPA. And I've been trying over the past 7, I don't know how many years right now, to tell them, you would not recognize the hackers. You don't know when they're going to hit you. And because they're very, very smart people, they're very young people, they have technologies that we even at Coaxis don't have. That's why we did Cypher, on the side and stuff like that, because there is full of ethical hackers. And actually, as a funny story, I took them to a speaking engagement I had with the FICPA, and I actually introduced the hackers. And people were just looking at them and be like, this is not possible. I'm like, yeah. I said, the oldest one is 20 years old. And they were like, what? It's like, yeah. And it's like, and they were stopping them with questions. Say, well, how would you do this? How would you do that? And then immediately it's like, well, we'll go this way. Well, how would you get to that? Like, I'm going to send you an email. I'm going to get the email. They were just, the CPA was just, and the eyes.
Christophe, what was the average age of the CPA in the room? What was the average age of the CPA in the room? The average age of that hacker was 20. What was the average age of the CPA?
You're right. They were probably from 50 to 65 or something. So if you look at the industry, this is what we were missing, a lot of young CPA, right? The young CPA, they do starting to understand that. But the average CPAs right now, they don't get it. They're like, they don't understand how those people can get through there. They think they have a new environment. They think they're in the middle of Wisconsin or Florida. Nobody's going to attack them. And they don't know that those hackers look at them like they have a different mind, right? Like I have a cybersecurity mind. I have a protective mind. So when I go to my CPAs, I protect them. I put the security system in place. I put the defense system in place. Those have a different mind than I do. They have a red team hacker mind. So they're not looking, I'm looking at Penny as a friend, as a human, right? They don't look at Penny as a friend, a human. They're like, I want to attack you. I don't know who you are. I don't really care who you are. I know that you have social security number in your staff, and I'm interested. There's no hard feeling, right? But I'm just going to conquer you. And they don't care if you're small, if you're big, or whatever you have, right? And this is what now if you look at the 30,000 foot things, CPAs, like, why is the FTC safeguard came in? Why are they bothering us with that? Well, it's not just CPAs. If you want me to go back a little bit, I'll explain you why the FTC safeguard came into place in June last year, basically. It's because if you look at the process of hacking, it's the same process all the time. For the end user that's being hacked, when you get hacked, you have to go through the same process. You have to file a police report. You have to call the FTC. You have to block your social security number, right? You have to go through all those processes. And usually you have to lawyer up, because I know so for a fact I was hacked actually through a car dealership. I know that I found out it was a car dealership. And it was in 2012 and I'm still paying for it. Today, if I let go of my social security number, the next month I'm receiving a new account being created, so I'll never go away. So this is the impact that it has of someone that's getting hacked. And when the FTC, they receive all kind of flooding things that those people are getting hacked, like, well, how are they getting hacked? Or what is the source? And they found multiple sources. They found car dealership. Because guess what? When you go there, you use social security number, they run your credit and you buy your car, right? Well, they have your social with you. CPA industry, because what do CPA host, right? Everything, your banking information, your investment information, your social security number, everything, your digital life, your financial digital life, they know about it. So it's a money plot for the hackers, right? All real estate brokers, same thing. When you close on the house, same thing. So they group all those people, basically. And here's what happened. They had the GLBA, the Grammar Blighty Act in the late 90s, okay? That was defined for financial institution, okay? Those people that I just mentioned, CPAs, auto leadership and all that, were never into the financial institution umbrella. The FTC, what they did, they didn't change the laws. They changed the financial institution meaning. So basically, it says now financial institution encapsulate all those industries. So now you have to do this. And in GLBA, if you look at it, one of the nice things is the WISP, a Written Information Security Program. And what is that, right? So it says, so now CPA, you have to do a WISP. You have to do a Written Information Security Program. Why? Because we need to make sure that you're going to be secure in a way that you're going to check every single box so your CPA firm is secure, okay? You do that to bother them? No, they do that because if you think about it, who else is asking about that? Not in the term of the WISP, cybersecurity insurance company. They'll insure you if, and there is a big if you look at the form, it should apply to all the forms. So if you look at the form of cybersecurity insurance company, it basically looks like a WISP. So the WISP basically will insert the cybersecurity insurance form. And if you miss one of these cybersecurity insurance, you will get denied. So now that being said, and we do receive a lot of forms from our clients saying, can you help me with this? If you look at those forms, it's very complicated. It's like, you do this, you do that. And like, I don't know what to answer. So the WISP basically is summarizing basically all those industry that's going to hit you from everything, right? It says, do your WISP. And when you do your WISP, it's going to encapsulate everything you need to have for other compliancy or other insurances. So that's the good thing about it. Now, it is being enforced by the IRS so far. They want to make sure that CPAs are taking that very seriously because it is a serious problem as far as cybersecurity. Because again, CPA have their clients' data. The IRS don't care about their data. They care about the clients' data that they're hosting, and they want to make sure that everything is being looked at and that they are actually preparing the firm for cybersecurity attack. So one of the things that Penny, when she did the WISP, that we did is we made it very, very simple so it's understandable by a CPA because they don't, that's not what they do usually, right? They do tax return and help. So we made sure that it was there. And in there, we also included one of the criteria that is really essential in that, which is a pen testing. So a lot of people don't understand what is a pen testing. So, well, what is a pen test? Well, that's what Penny, when she talked to Baden, and be like, I said, well, you are hackers. A pen test is a simulated way for us to basically look at a network and find exploitable vulnerabilities that are harmful on the network and be able to fix them. Okay. And those are everything that we found is being brought back into the WISP, and then remediation is done within the WISP and said, okay, well, we found this, that's fix, and fix. Okay. So those for CPA, they have to do 2 pen tests per year minimum. Okay. So, and to make sure everything is good. They can do, if they really care about the security, they can do pen tests continuously. We have a company like Cypher that do that. And like that, they can see, what's happening in the network. Now, as a cybersecurity expert, and I've done many of them, again, I'm in the protective side. Okay. I'm in the blue team side. So I'm going to equip my client with all the protection that they need. Okay. That being said, without a pen testing, there is a lot of things I cannot see in the network. There's things I can't see. I'm blind. And so my client comments be like, well, now you put all this, am I secure? Well, I'm like, you secure up until a point. But I said, if I don't do a pen test, I cannot see what's in your network. I cannot see the holes in there. And after we do the pen test, and we've been doing pen tests for a lot of CPAs, now we're able to see what's in the network. And the pen test bring back and says, be careful, you have a hole right there. Oh, we didn't see this one. Well, now we can fix it. And because the pen test is simulating a hacker, right? Then we're able to block those holes before a hacker can get to it. So the hackers are very lazy people. Okay. By default, they're very lazy. They want the quick bucks for not a lot of work. Okay. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to penetrate your network through some very ingenious things and forget your firewall. They're not going through your firewall anymore. This is not happening. They're going to go to your network, and then they're going to look at exactly what we look, holes and stuff like that. So if the holes are plugged, they usually leave and be like, too complicated. I'm gone. This is not worth my time. I'll go to someone else where I can find those holes and exploit them and then get my data out of there. And when we do demo, we show actually live on some demo the way that actually a hacker works. I mean, seriously, we did show like in front of CPAs on one of the demonstration, the way that they actually hack into a network, and people were just looking at the screen, they're like, but this is easy. It's like, yeah, the entire thing took about 20 minutes. 20 minutes to escalate something from, I'm not a user, I'm not even there, to now I get access to your data. It's very fast, very, very fast. And what people need to understand is that you don't have to be an IBM or Microsoft to get hacked. Those people, even think about it. They have, even the US government, they have security like nobody has security, and they still get hacked. So it's up to like now the managed service provider and stuff like that to ramp up, right? Understand cybersecurity to where it's supposed to be now. And cybersecurity is not anymore in a virus or in a malware or a firewall. This is just part of it. Now it's come to things to where we have to actually test. And that's the point with the WISP. That's the point with cybersecurity insurance. They said, okay, We understand you put all the security safeguard in your network. That's great. Did you test that? No. Well, you need to test it because you don't know if it works. You hope it works. We hope it works. But every time we pen test something, we see the antivirus popping up and stuff like that. That's great. We still find holes. Say, oh, this computer has 3 holes. Why do we don't know that? Well, now you do. Now we need to fix it. Okay. So that's pretty much what the essence of the WISP is. It is a very serious thing. To me, is not, I mean, I'm used to it. I've done that for some 15 years. I've had to secure my data center for 15 years. So to me, it's just a day at work, basically. I understand for the CPA it's not, but we made it pretty simple. And it's, like Penny will tell you, it is very useful. It is, the more and more you're going to go, your client is going to be asking, I mean, do you have, security system? Do you have this? Do you have that? And if you say you do and you don't, to me, we have reached a point right now. And if you can look at FBI, you can look at any kind of law enforcement data, and I've been looking at them for a long time, it's not an if, it's when you're going to get hacked. And better than that, those hackers now, they're very, very smart. So when they come to CPA, they come to steal, right? They don't come to destroy you. They come to steal data. Okay. So they have a way, but they will show you, they have a way to sit in your computer, look at, and I'm talking locally at your house, wherever you are, right? To sit on your computer, look at a mirror image of what you're doing in your computer without you knowing about it. And they're going to see and access everything you can access, and you will never know about it. So password you type, everything you type, they'll just come in right into them. And their goal is to make sure your computer is working fine, because they don't want you to know that they're there. All they want to do is just keep pulling data out and pulling data out. And what they do, they turn around and sell them. That's all they do. They're very, very lazy. They want to make it, like I said, they want to make a quick buck very fast.
Did the car dealership know? Did the car dealership know that somebody had stolen their stuff until you guys started calling?
They had no clue.
They had no idea.
They had no idea. They had
not affected.
No. I had to call the police department when there and told them. I said, you had a breach here. It's like, oh, yeah. I said, yeah, we did. Because they traced it back anyway. That's where it came from. And they had no other idea they got hacked. That's one of the problems, is that the hackers will not let the CPA know. And the only thing we can do, and that's what I'm saying, with the WISP, when you pen test it, that's the only way for us to know if you do have those holes, so we can plug them fast.
This isn't a ransomware thing. That it also happens. This is, yes. We're not penetrating you to get data and then hold you hostage. We're just going to get the data and walk away. You'll never know we were there.
Away, because ransomware applies to company of a certain size. Okay, so if they see the company as a certain size, they'll try a ransomware because they know they can pay. They know they have like a huge security insurance, so they'll try that, right? And sometimes it doesn't work for them, so they'll steal data just to make sure. But sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But that's to a certain size of data CPAs. What we're talking about, Penny, here is small business firm, right? So 5 to 10 to whatever CPAs, right? So are they going to ask for ransomware to those people? Maybe, probably not, because they know they're not going to get a lot. What they're going to get a lot out of is the continuous amount of social security number and bank accounts and stuff like that pouring into this firm.
Yeah. So all of you people that have bank access numbers on Excel spreadsheets and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, it's...
And your passwords are all on Excel spreadsheets and, oh my
passwords. God. I mean, it can come, if you listen to those hackers, the way they get in, it can come from a simple email. And it's a valid email saying, hey, I'm a new client. I'd like to talk to you guys about my company or whatever. And just the answer to the email is establishing a connection. And they look at the email, they know like a ton of information out of the email. And let me send you a spreadsheet so you can give me a quote or something like that. Let me send you some information. They embed code into images. I mean, they are very, very tricky.
And really? So sorry, because I'm sort of listening along here. I'm like, so first and foremost, I'm blown away that firms are still keeping passwords and whatnot in spreadsheets, but probably not that surprising. But secondly, like just that sort of an email to say, dear Penny, a friend referred me over to you. I was wondering if I could get some help with my taxes.
Yes.
I'm the firm owner. I'm like, oh, absolutely. Tell me who referred you. And in the meantime, send me a couple of documents, send me last year's tax return or fill in this form. And and what they send back. Oh, wow. That's a bit scary.
Oh, it's very scary. We had CPAs that got hacked because they were working with law firms that got hacked and they were sending email together for the company.
Yeah. So have you vetted your vendors? And have you vetted, I mean, we as
your referral sources.
Yeah, your
partners,
sources,
like a law firm, a bookkeeper. Yeah. Wow.
Your bookkeepers, have your bookkeepers, they're off site. Are they doing this? And bookkeepers, you think you're safe? You put it out there that you do bookkeeping. And I know a lot of bookkeepers that have a lot of client data and it's sitting on their PC or their Mac. And I know that they're not using things like password protection software like we use, Practice Protect, and they're not using because they send us an Excel. Don't do that. Please stop sending that.
I know.
These are bookkeepers and accountants that are sending us stuff. I was just telling Christophe, I always tell people my security ends where your security begins.
That's correct.
Here's what we've done. The biometric scanning to get in the workroom, the global cybersecurity insurance, being on Coaxis. We've done that. Oh, now you want us to RDP into your system? Where's your security? Because here's mine. It stops the minute I go in your system.
It's very true. That's why the NIST, they're coming out with a supply chain. They're going to ask the supply chain to be pen tested.
Yes.
Because they don't know what's like the CPA firm. They didn't know the lawyer got hacked. Damien, the hackers, we do a lot of exercise. I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing because when I look at it, I'm about like cry, right? I want them to come to my computer. I said, okay, I got some good security system. I tell you, we got some good security system right here, right? They're really good, right? So I'm isolated from data center and everything here. They come here, they install a keylogger, which they can look at my keyboard. They installed one like 3 weeks ago. None of my antivirus, nothing popped out. Nothing popped out. Nothing. All my security system, nothing popped out. They said, good luck with that. Shit. What am I supposed to do?
What are you supposed to do? Just everywhere you can turn.
Nothing popped out. They're like,
think about how fast things, and I mean, you could get a pen test and take care of all the holes, and then 2 months later, a 12-year-old kid could figure out a better way to get in. And maybe they found there's a new technology app that they can use because AI is going to help them get this done faster. So it's like, this is not a one and done thing. I mean, once we committed to this, we knew that we're committing to this, to do this all the time, renew it every year. And it's not one and done because the technology is not one and done.
Right. And that's why when we created Cypher, so Cypher is running, it's a little bit different than other pen testing software. Cypher is running the pen test with an AI. So the AI is actually running the pen test. And we had to do that because, again, certified ethical hackers, they're good, but they're not that fast. And we had to have a tool that can learn very, very fast, like CVEs. The AI update the CVEs, the vulnerabilities every single day. But only an AI can do that. And an AI can have, or we build something that is very strong and can have a lot of capability, can scan your network like all the time. Like during the months, you add a computer, you move a computer, you go do like an update or an upgrade. Things change in the network constantly. And those AI, those pen tests, they can detect like live. They say, whoop, be careful. You just update a computer, you block a hole here, but you open another one over there.
Yeah.
So, and there is no other way for us to fight. You have to fight fire with fires. And you're right, those hackers, they're very, very smart. And we had to do something with an AI because the pen tester, the certified hackers, they're good, but they're not fast enough. And the AI, we did the AI so it completely mimics exactly the pen tester. So we all know exactly what the pen tester needs to do and it exactly mimic what the pen tester does. So that's what we had to do in order just to come back, just to stay alive, just to stay on the forefront. Otherwise, you have a little pen tester in there. Within 2 months, you're already 10 miles behind.
A lot of people talk about cloud apps. Well, we do a lot of cloud apps. As we've mentioned, we got 297 that we're managing. We manage them all through Coaxis. We don't log in to a browser before we log in to Coaxis and then use their browsers because we know how secure they are. but how secure are the apps that you're integrating with? Like people go, well, this app works great. Well, have you vetted it? It works great. How long has it been on the market? Have you asked them where their security is? When apps come to me, and I don't promote a lot of apps on this podcast because it's not my place to tell anybody what to use. And I mention when people ask me, who do you use as your managed service provider? First, I have to define to them what between an application hosting service provider and a managed service provider. Coaxis is a managed service provider. It's a one step up. And they'll ask me and I'll give them Coaxis's name. And there's two other apps I recommend, RelayFi and LiveFlow, because both of them help CAS. They allow you to do CAS. They're cloud-based. But when I talked to them, it was like, where is your data housed? Where are you running this? What's your security level? Give me all your documentation.
Right.
When I talk to them, because I'm going out and like I said, I'm secure to this point because of Coaxis. Once I go outside of that, where's my security? So the other thing that this WISP has done for us is it's taught every one of those women over there.
Yeah.
And continuously, because now it's like we have this set up, we have this online system, and we can bring them in and all of the documentation of all the steps are being put there. And we can train them when they come on board with us, going, okay, let's pull up our WISP. Now let's go through all the security stuff that you need to be aware of when you come to work for us. And it's all documented. It's all lined out and it's all there for my operations manager in Chennai to get into. And he's actually, in fact, when we did it this year, I said, Raj, we hired a guy for the first time. And I said, your job is to take what I wrote, because I wrote it a couple of years ago, and now update it to what's going on in the industry today.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's doing. And he's using the format that Christophe put together. And like I said, I filled out these WISPs for other clients and looked at them, and they're all PDF driven, and it's really complicated. And this is just, and I know what's going to happen. They're going to get stored in some file folder somewhere, and nobody's
to
going
see the light of day again.
This is constantly giving us feedback with the dashboard on, whoops, you know what? You just fell down on this. Nobody ever gets to 100% because some of the things aren't even applicable to us. But it's kind of like your credit karma score. I can look at it and go, oh, we just dropped in our score. Where did we drop and why did we drop?
Right.
Now let's go fix it.
That's right.
And I'm going to tell you the original cost is what caused me to call Rachel and complain about it. And then Rachel said, Penny, come on, call Christophe. He's your guy. I go, you're kidding. Why isn't he announcing this to everybody? Because Christophe got so pissed at what they were charging people for this. He went out and built something that was cost effective.
Right.
It will work.
All right.
And I don't usually promote this stuff, but I've told people over and over again on this podcast, this is what keeps me up at night. Not the fact that a debit wasn't put in correctly or that my team did not understand a question you asked them. It's whether or not you have the security that I promised you.
Yeah, that's correct, Penny. That's right. And the good thing about this WIP is that, like Damien said, it's not going to fall into a cabinet where nobody looks at it.
Right.
It's just to keep you awake and be like, hey, let's see this month. Let's see where you at. Let's do a pen test again. Let's make sure that you're good. Let's make sure that everything is safe and sound, right? The hacker, because hacker is going to hit you like whenever you don't. I mean, we have to be all the ways on the forefront, all the ways ahead of them. That's it. That's all we've got. That's all we've got.
And I guess that's the most important thing, isn't it? Like it's not a case of if, but more so when. And it's the last thing you want to be is in a case of after the fact finding out someone's hacked you. Whereas here is an opportunity for you to be ahead of the game, so to speak, and aware of it. As you said, Penny, I like that. I'm never going to get to 100%, but as long as it's always on the radar, and if I do see my score drop, I can understand why. But I think to your point as well is it's always at the top of people's minds, because again, like even in my job, I did my security compliance training once a year. and it reminds me not to click on links and not to do this and not to do that. And then it's sort of to the back of my mind for the rest of the year until my compliance training is due. But it sounds like this is a really good way of keeping it at the fore, because your point, Penny, if something gets categorized incorrectly one month, not going to bring the business down. Whereas actually a hack could bring the business down, but actually the knock-on effect is quite
So like
quite
Christophe
significant.
said, he got hacked personally because he went to a car dealership.
Right. And the most dangerous thing you can do is a checkbox compliancy, because those are the 1 year compliancy. Well, there you go, I'm compliant. Okay,
Yep.
don't do anything.
Which is what I do.
Also, yeah, but the problem with that is that the hackers, they work all day long, right? They work all day long. And security is in everybody that understands the network is a living entity. A network lives. You receive updates, you go to the internet, you go to places where you're not supposed to go, you go to places where you get something. It's always living. It's a network. It's just how it is, right? And the most dangerous one is to say, well, I got my compliance last June, I'm good. Okay. We'll see when October where you at in your compliance, because they forget everything, right? And like, oh, well, we're compliant, but I guess we missed that. It's like, well, no, hacking is a problem with everyday problem. Let me give you an example. If you put a camera system in your company, okay, if you put your antivirus, do you start your antivirus from 8 to 9 every day and then stop it? No, it runs all the time, right? Because it has to do all the time. Security camera system, our security camera here, we have, I don't know, like 19 of them. They're all 24/7. We never stop them.
Yeah.
Pen testing is the same thing. It's here to help you protect yourself all the time. So that's what Penny said. That's what she likes about the WISP, is because it keeps you on your toes all the time. Be like, oh, hold on, what do we do here? Oh, we forgot that? Well, what did we fail here? Did we not do this document? This new employee did not do that?
Yeah, it tells me.
It tips you out.
You haven't put up this document yet. You cannot say that you've got this ready. Yeah, it lets me know.
But I think
it's not just,
I was just going to say,
just the network. I want to bring other things in here, because one of the other things that we're dealing with is in a remote society is mobile phones, laptops, and tablets. So that's what's holding us up, is those 2 laptops that Namila and Shamila go back and forth when they come to the United States with. That's going to be part of our pen test. Right. And my laptop and Megan's laptop. Now, I own the phones here. I've given Megan a company phone, right? So that I can control. But she works on a Mac at home. And so she's going to go through a little bit different testing. And then Namila and Shamila, they have their laptops and they carry their phones back and forth from India to the United States. Well, the 4 of us get to work outside of that biometric scanning room. So our penetration testing is going to be much more detailed. And that's where coaxial security stopped. And I have to provide the security from there on out.
Right.
And that's really kind of like, that's where we're putting all of our efforts in, because Christophe's made the rest of the stuff real easy for us. So,
Penny, like what you're saying there is right, like, because you said you bought your team members' phones. I don't know many
laptops and the phones. Yeah.
No, laptops I get, but I don't know many sort of small, medium-sized firms that are buying mobile phones for their team members. Instead, they're probably loading up Microsoft.
What do we have on that?
No, exactly. That's what I mean. We've got our email. We've got all this. Yeah.
We have apps that we've downloaded. I mean, I was just at somebody's office and they said, I'm going to get hit with taxes this year. It's the first year I'm an LLC. I'm going to file. And I asked her, she goes, my CPA said something about I should use a program called Quick something. And I just laughed at her. I said, QuickBooks? She goes, I think that's it. She goes, do you know anything about it? And I go, fuck, should I tell her? but listen, I said, literally, I run my whole business off this damn thing. The only thing I can't run off of it is coaxial. I do need mine, but I can get onto it through my Chromebook.
Yeah.
And then Megan gets onto it through her MacBook. Yeah. And Namila and Shamila get through it on their laptops because we have to run the company and we're always traveling, right?
But I'm just thinking about the vulnerabilities though, again, because firms aren't buying.
Megan's not, nobody's allowed to log in.
Not you, Penny. I'm thinking about the listeners. Oh. the sort of the listeners to be thinking about, hang on, what's happening with my team members' phones? Because they've downloaded email, they've downloaded the apps or whatever, but I don't actually know where they go online at the weekends and all that type of stuff on their cell phones.
Yeah.
I think as well, I'm guilty of this, that when I am traveling, I will duck into a free Wi-Fi network on my work laptop or on my phone. So all of these sort of vulnerabilities that you can have a really great environment, as you said, in that biometrically scanned, secure place. But just think about if your team members, you have work email on their personal phones and they're logging into free Wi-Fi networks, et cetera, again, just the vulnerability. So back to Christophe's point about this one time a year compliance check, so many opportunities to penetrate that.
Yeah. So what happens when you let go of an employee?
And Penny, if you listen to
down.
Penny is one of, I don't know, maybe one of 100,000s of people that actually take security seriously. So when you hear Penny talking about biometrics and stuff like that, I know because we've been working together for a long time. She takes that very, very seriously. Now, when you go see the CPA of the world here, they're not remotely there.
No.
Not even thinking about it.
Not even close. So they have a firewall, they have an antivirus, they have a couple of things, and they're like, okay, well, we save. Okay, that's great. You're not. Even the pen test detect cell phone on the network. We'll catch them. We'll catch the cell phone. But I mean, it's what Penny does is she's been security minded for a very long time, and she got there. But what's scary to me is, last year I met some guy walking with his laptop. I says, we were talking about backup. Well, my backup is on my laptop. I'm out of words. I'm out of words. I'm like, okay, that's great for you. Keep going. I can hack his laptop in a minute, right? I go ahead and please log on to the hotel Wi-Fi. See, this is going to be a bad day for you, my friend. It's, those hackers, they hack your car now. They can hack your car. It takes them like 5 seconds.
They can hack your debit card while you're standing there pumping gas.
Yeah, they have those little tools. They can hack like my door here with like a security biometric stuff. It takes them.
I have security cameras. I have a dog. I have a gun.
The dog is
in my house. I never. Don't do that. I live in Wyoming. There's more than one reason to have a gun. We had reasons where I lived. So
Wyoming, you have to.
Okay, we're going off on some tangents. Yeah, why don't we? Okay, and I think this is sort of an interesting topic and something that I think Christophe will have to get you back on the show. But I think for listeners that haven't, and I'm not sure. Again, I'm a little bit removed from it. I'm not sure how aware accountants and bookkeepers are of WISP. But assuming that they are aware of it, what can they do? What are the next steps? What are the things that they should be thinking about?
Well, they have to contact us and really get on the WISP now, because they were supposed to. The law started that they had to be compliant on, I think, June 9, 2023 or June 11.
June of 2023, they had to be compliant.
Right. So they're a year late almost. So it's time for them to catch up. Basically, now they're paying catch up. They're not going forward, they're paying catch up. So they have to contact, us if they want to, and then they have to keep going on their way after the tax season and then get to that. Does that mean they're going to be 100% secure? Nobody is, nobody will be. Not us, nobody will be. But when you get hacked, if you get hacked, first of all, it's going to be very hard for the hacker to hack them, because after we find everything, we're plugging a lot of holes all the time. And then if you get hacked, if you show that you've done everything that is humanly possible, then you're forgiven. Even from your plan, I'm like, okay, you're trying. There is nowhere, they can't go and say, well, this CP going to be better. No, it's not. But if you don't have your WISP, if you don't do everything necessary, then you got a problem. They were protected before because a pen test used to cost you like $70,000 or whatever. So, well, we don't have the money to do that. Things are getting now, Penny will tell you that, to be such affordable that they can't say, well, I didn't have the money to do that. No, you really have the money to do it. You need to do it. It's not an excuse anymore. Get to be, not even for the sake of your clients, protect them. It is your moral, need to do that. When they give you, they're trusting you with their financial data, right? The digital financial data, you have to protect them. You have to make sure they're going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Penny, any final thoughts?
No, I think that we'll post Christophe's connection and Lisa's contact information, his assistant, in the show notes. And then also anybody who they can just get in touch with me if they need to have any contact with Christophe. And you can ask me what it took, how much I paid. I'll tell you all of that. Not a worry.
And I think as you said, Penny, and I think I've got to imagine that a lot of listeners are in a similar boat after listening to what you just said, that I'm not, how something's categorized or how something's coded, that's not keeping me up at night. But the data of my client base, that and the protection of that, that's what's keeping me up at night. And that's what working hard to protect. So
we're doing tax returns, we're doing attestation, and we're doing account.
Yeah.
We have a ton of stuff, and I see how insecure it is.
Yeah.
All the time.
Absolutely. So Christophe, coaccesscloud.com, is that where people can sort of find a little bit more information about the business?
We'll give you all we got multiple contacts for everything. So we'll give that to Penny. We're going to give you all that and you can post it.
Yeah, perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this has been a sort of maybe a bit of a wake-up call. I don't know. It's sort of one of those things that we hear about cybersecurity and the importance of it, and then sometimes it just sort of goes to the back of our minds to think about sort of the next time we've got to do our once-a-year compliance. So I hope this has helped demystify, certainly around WISP and how we can make it affordable and something that is a part of our day-to-day. I think that's a really important part. I think also how to make sure that it's a part of everyone on the team's day-to-day. It's not just Penny's, but it's the whole team's responsibility. And it sounds like this WISP and the dashboard process is a really great way of enabling that. So check out coaccesscloud.com. We'll put all the details in the show notes as well. Connect with Penny or myself on LinkedIn, and we'll be able to share any insights from our own experiences as well. Folks, if you've enjoyed today's episode, please share it, please like it, please give us a rating on the podcast platform of your choice. And Penny, always a pleasure. Christophe, thank you very much for your time and your expertise.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you.
Wonderful evening, and have a great day. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Very much. Love you. Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Damien.